Hi, this is Jojo with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing part of the Die Hard movies. Of course, previously I did a whole review of just, I think that only the first four movies came out at that time, and I didn't see the fifth one. So I figured to redo my review of the Die Hard movies, but I'm going to do it one at a time, not lump all of the films in one sitting, or one video. So I'm going to be doing with my recent videos, like with Lethal Weapon and the Rocky movies. I decided to do it individually, one at a time, of the Die Hard films. So we're going to start, of course, obviously, with the first film, which came out 30 years ago this year. Came out in the summer of 1988. And it was a moderate success, but it became more of a big hit on video and then, of course, on cable television. Then, of course, because it was a big hit then, they made a whole string of sequels after that. But it was just the first film, which came out, like I said earlier, in 1988, starring Bruce Willis. Of course, at that time, Bruce Willis only had one film under his belt. It was a mildly successful comedy called Blind Date, starring Kim Basinger. But he was also more known at that time as being on the star of Moonlighting, which was a very popular television show on the ABC network. So this was the first real big film that he was in, and made him into an international movie star. And of course, this movie also stars Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber, who was the villain, he gave such a great performance in this film. And even though he was in a bunch of other movies after that, like the Robin Hood remake with Kevin Costner, and he was in the Harry Potter movies. But this is the role, God love him. This is the role that defined his career, and no one could do it better than he could as a villain. And you also have Bonnie Bedelia, who was a major hottie, played Bruce Willis's estranged wife, which we'll get into in a minute. And you also had Reginald VelJohnson playing a cop before Family Matters. He was in this movie as a cop. You also have William Atherton, from the Ghostbusters movies, being this one being an asshole reporter. You also had Paul Gleason, from The Breakfast Club, also in this film. So you have a couple, and you also have Robert Davi, one of the FBI guys. You had, and now I'm leaving somebody out, but maybe during this video, remember the guys' names that I'm leaving out here. But this movie, of course, started, and that movie's ripped its premise off. We have a guy in a location which take over with either a bunch of criminals or a bunch of terrorists, and he had to fight his way out. Of course, all the movies that ripped it off was like Speed, Under Siege, Cliffhanger, Passenger 57. All those movies, and of course you have Speed 2 and Under Siege 2. All those movies ripped Die Hard off. And it's like, it's Die Hard on the ship, and Under Siege, or Die Hard on a bus, which was Speed, or Die Hard on a cliff, which was Cliffhanger. You had all these rip-offs with almost exactly the same premise as Die Hard, but it kind of changed it. Instead of having like Bruce Willis in an office building, he had him on an airplane, or on a train, or on a bus, whatever. But this one set the trend, and it was great. Of course, Bruce Willis plays a New York City cop named John McClane, who travels to L.A. to see his wife during Christmas week. It was on Christmas Eve. He travels to L.A. And of course, before I continue, this movie also said that a huge debate every year on Christmas time: should Die Hard be considered a Christmas movie? Because it's set on Christmas Eve, there's a Christmas party going on in an office building, and of course you have various other Christmas, Christmas references throughout the rest of this film. Merry Christmas. You have when McClane kills the first terrorist who confronts him, he wrote on his shirt, "Now I have a machine gun, ho ho ho," on the dead guy's shirt. So you have all these references to Christmas in this movie. So even though it has nothing to do with the actual holiday, what the holiday is supposed to be about, but it's set at on Christmas Eve. So you have a huge debate if it's a Christmas movie or not. Same thing with the second film, which I get to when I do the second movie. But I'm sticking with the first one. And the reason why Bruce Willis or John McClane is estranged with his wife, who's played by Brian Bedelia, because she worked for a Japanese company and she worked in New York, and meanwhile they moved her to a bigger job in LA. So she moved to LA, took the job opportunity out there. Well, she got a promotion out there. And Bruce Willis decided not to go with her, said, "Oh, you're wasting your time out there. Because we live here, we're in New York, this is it. Boom. We live in New York, we should stay in New York, and that's it. Not an F in California," which he says a couple of times in the beginning of this film. So he goes to LA, gets picked up by a limo driver named Olgal. Yes, the guy's named after a sock. And he sees his wife, and while his wife goes outside to deliver a Christmas speech to the workers who are there at the Christmas party, the building gets taken over by Hans Gruber and his group of terrorists who wants to break into the building's vault because they have like about $160 million, over $600 million in German barrel bonds that are stacked in the vault, and he wants the computer key to break into the computer. But meanwhile, there's only the problem is that the key that the chairman of the company only works for one vault, and the rest of them, they have the other people to use their keys to get in, or the computer code to open up the rest of the vault. And you can't have that because you only know one of them, not 7 of them. So he, of course, he gets killed by Hans Gruber, and Bruce Willis is there by himself with his shoes off, because at the beginning of the film, the first scene of the film actually, he's on the plane landing, and a guy sitting next to him says, "Make fists with your toes on the carpet when you get where you're going. It will relax you, get rid of your jet lag, or help you relieve your jet lag." And he does that, and that's why he was barefoot throughout the rest of the movie. So the terrorists take over, and actually he's trying to get his way out, trying to make a false call with fire alarm, and the guys come up, and then they turn around and go home, and go back to the firehouse. Then he calls the cop and gets the radio from the terrorists that he killed, and he's trying to get on the police band and get the cops down there. And of course, the woman says, "This is for emergency calls only." Of course, Bruce Willis comes up the line and says, "No fucking shit, lady. That's not like wanting a pizza." So you have one. I don't know if it was written in the script or it was all ad-libbed, but Bruce Willis came up with one great line after another in this film. And of course, with the iconic line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," which he says to Hans Gruber, who thinks, "Oh, what do you think you are, cowboy? You have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?" And then, of course, Bruce Willis says, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and which is a line that he says in all 5 movies. He says that line, or at least in the 4th one, a variation of it, because it was a PG-13 movie. You can't say motherfucker in a PG-13 film. So, which stinks, which I'm going to get to when I get to that film. But this one is such loaded with action scenes. And you have Reginald Val Johnson, who responds to the call to go to the building and check it out. And then Bruce Willis throws a body out the window to get a notice, "Hey, there's a situation going on here." And that's when you have Paul Gleason, who was the supervisor, comes in and was a deputy chief, police chief, and he tries to take over the situation. Then you have the FBI guys come in. One of them played with Robert Johnson, from the Goonies and various other roles. He comes in and tries to help out. He gets, I don't want to give too much away, but he gets killed off too. And of course you have that line from Paul Gleason, "I guess we're going to need more FBI guys, I guess." I mean, it's like one of those dry, witty lines after another from all these guys. And all these guys are like assholes who do and Roger Ebert said in his review of this movie too, that that all these guys do the exact opposite of what normal people would do. So you have that, and of course you have the guy Ellis, Bonnie Bedelia, or Holly's co-worker who's on drugs and is not gonna. You see, he's doing it in front of all the houses. He has coke on his finger. Goes, he thinks like, "What are you doing?" And even Bruce Willis says, "You miss some cocaine in your face." and you think obviously this guy was like a drug addict, corporate raider, and all that stuff, and he gets himself killed by Hans. Of course, the first terrorist that Bruce Willis kills happens to be the brother of one of the other terrorists, played by Alexander Gurunov. That's the guy that I left out, who played the guy Carl. And of course, they did the premise that they did in the Lethal Weapon series, was the henchman has like a personal grudge against, the hero of the movie, John McClane. And he had the big fist fight. Instead of having the big fist fight with Hans Gruber, he had Bruce Willis had a big fist fight scene with, the Call, and that was a great fight scene. I mean, that was great. It was a hungry, bloodthirsty fight, and of course, Carl gets killed by Carl Winslow from Family Matters, and there's this reason for that scene, which I'm not going to give that away, but it's like a little small scene where Al Powell, as Reginald Johnson's character, tells him, "Oh, I accidentally shot a kid, and I can't bring my gun up against anybody anymore." And then, Bruce Willis was at the end of the movie, very end of the movie, he brings his gun to shoot Carl and kill Carl at the end of this film. Spoiler. And that was like the very end of this film. So, but this movie is. I know I'm not going into much detail because I don't want to ruin it for those few people who have not seen Die Hard, at least the first one. It is a great action film. I do recommend it for those who have not seen it, especially if you have to be a fan of Bruce Willis before I got into those crazy psychological thrillers like The Sixth Sense, all those crazy movies they did in the 90s, or in between the Die Hard films. This movie was what made his career. And of course, the line with "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." I mean, that is, that is one of the class. And I still laugh when I hear that line because it's such a classic movie line. And of course, one of the other better scenes when Bruce Willis was trying to get the attention of John McClane of Reginald Gleason's character, and they have a shootout in this conference room in the building. And it says, "Oh," and one terrorist, Bruce Willis is like under a table, it's like crawling under a table, and the guy is on top of a table, and he says, "No more table," right? And the thing German answer, "Where you going, pal?" And he says, and he's changing cartridges in his gun. He says, "When you have a chance to kill someone, do not hesitate." And then Bruce Willis shoots him through the table, and he says, "Thanks for the advice." I mean, with all these lines, I mean, I could quote lines from Die Hard all day long, because some of those lines are really terrific, and especially when Hans fakes an accent, or an English or American accent. That's the food Bruce Willis. You have a confrontation because he's checking out the roof. Bruce Willis was, and Carl and Hans, the Rickman character, had the whole roof to blow up because he was going to kill all the hostages when the FBI guys come down on the helicopters to blow everybody up, and the fake that he died while he steals the $600 million in bail bonds. So he had all this stuff, just to fake, to kill all these hostages and pretend that he died with them, or Hans Gruber dies with them, which is a plot device they used in the third Die Hard film, which I'm going to get into when I review that film. But Die Hard, even though it's a 30-year-old movie, I still enjoy watching it because it's a great action film. Because I like my action films to have a plot. And this one, even though it has big action scenes after another, it's still fun to watch. And the first Die Hard film is, of course, the best one in the whole series. But we're going to get into the first sequel, which I also think was pretty good. Even though a lot of people like the Cinephiles guys crapped on it when they did the series of the Die Hard movies. But I like the second one. The more I watch, the more I like it. It's like the first one. The first one I liked it right away. The second one, I like the second one as well. And we'll review that one next. Die Hard. So this is my review of the first Die Hard movie. Please click on the video. Please feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and all on my YouTube channel, but rowdyc.com. It's all WDY. That's C.com. Homepage is Rowdy Reviewer, Christine Moore. And please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time. And yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.